Hello everyone and welcome. If you want to improve your English naturally, you're in the right place. In this 1-hour lesson, you'll listen to real-life English conversations that native speakers use every day. Each conversation is slow, clear, and easy to understand. After every dialogue, we'll explain important vocabulary, useful phrases, and pronunciation tips. So relax, grab a notebook, and let's improve your English together. Let's begin.
Imagine taking like a brand new bottle of ketchup and just squirting it all over a breathtaking multicolored sunset.
Oh, wow. That is a terrible image.
Right. Or, pouring it over the news that your absolute best friend just landed their dream job.
Yeah, that completely ruins the vibe.
It totally does.
Yeah.
But honestly, that is exactly what you are doing to your daily conversations when you constantly rely on the phrase, very good.
You're taking this dynamic, living human moment and just reducing it to a flat, two-dimensional data point.
Exactly. So welcome to today's deep dive. We are officially on a rescue mission for your vocabulary today.
A much-needed one, honestly.
Yeah, we're pulling from a really fascinating transcript provided by the Mr. English channel. And our objective here for you listening isn't just to, hand you a thesaurus and send you on your way.
Right. It's way deeper than just swapping out words.
Yeah, the core promise of our source material today is that analyzing and upgrading this one specific linguistic habit, our, chronic overuse of very good hip, it can fundamentally change how you're perceived in your relationships, your networking, and even leadership roles.
Because if we connect this to the bigger picture of behavioral psychology, we first have to look at why this phrase completely dominates our interactions.
Right. Why is it our go-to?
Well, linguists actually refer to very good as a safe tool. And when someone is newly acquiring a language, a safe tool is literally a life raft.
Because it's grammatically bulletproof.
Right. Exactly. It's bulletproof and universally understood. But native and fluent speakers fall into this trap all the time, too. And usually it's a symptom of cognitive load.
Oh, like your brain is just doing too much at once.
Right. In a normal conversation, your brain is simultaneously reading the other person's body language, formulating your next thought, and, managing your own social anxiety.
So very good just requires zero processing power.
Zero. It is the path of least linguistic resistance.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because if the root cause is that our brains are defaulting to this low-energy, safe tool that, let's be honest, drains all the emotion out of our stories, the solution requires us to actively deploy words that inject humanity back into the exchange.
Yes. We are shifting from being a mechanical reporter of facts to someone who actually, experiences life.
Which brings us to how the source material segments these upgrades. It starts with vocabulary designed specifically to lower social friction and build warmth, right?
Yeah, it breaks it down brilliantly. Think about when you say, you did very good work.
You sound like a boss or a teacher.
Exactly. You are positioning yourself as an evaluator. You sound like a professor grading a sophomore's term paper. It maintains a strict hierarchy.
So how do we break that?
The source points to a word like fantastic to shatter that hierarchy.
Fantastic.
Yeah. When a colleague finishes a grueling month-long project and you say, that is fantastic news, congratulations, you aren't grading them anymore.
You're transferring energy.
Right.
Yeah.
You are sharing in their triumph.
It completely changes the energetic state of the room. And the source applies this to personal storytelling, too.
Right. Absolutely.
Like rather than reporting to a coworker on Monday morning that you had a very good trip to the mountains, using a word like wonderful fundamentally alters their perception of your weekend.
It does. And it's funny how casually we use wonderful now. We completely forget the mechanical function of the word.
Well, the wonder.
Right. We're literally accusing a dinner party or a weekend hike of filling us with wonder. That etymological root is vital.
It triggers this deep sense of comfort and graciousness. Like the source highlights leaving a friend's house after a dinner party, saying, thank you for a wonderful evening.
It makes the host feel deeply valued on a personal level. You aren't rating their food, you're validating the atmosphere they built.
Right. Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. Because the source also zeroes in on the more casual side of building rapport. It notes that the single most popular casual word in America right now is awesome.
Awesome. Yes. It basically serves as the ultimate social lubricant in North American culture.
Which makes perfect sense when you look at collaborative environments. Like if a buddy suggests a new approach, hey, let's grab coffee and outline this pitch, and you respond with, that is a very good idea.
It halts the momentum entirely. It sounds so stilted.
It really does.
Yeah,
But if you smile and say, that sounds awesome, let's do it, you instantly validate their contribution.
You make the other person feel excited about their own idea, which, by the way, is a key trait of charismatic leadership. You're actively constructing a collaborative vibe.
Yeah, I love that. And another nuanced tool the source offers here is delightful.
Oh, delightful is great. It's deployed for a very specific flavor of quiet happiness and charm.
Like walking into a softly lit bakery with acoustic music, you wouldn't say, this is very good.
No, you'd sound ridiculous. Describing it as absolutely delightful captures the actual aesthetic experience.
The source even applies it to personality types, like meeting a friend's grandmother who tells rich historical stories. Calling her a delightful person just has a warmth that standard adjectives can't touch.
It's a very specific, very warm energy.
But wait, I do have to push back on one of the words the source groups into this highly positive category.
Okay, which one?
Terrific.
All right.
Because if our entire goal right now is to lower social friction and build warmth, why would we use a word that literally shares a root with terror? Doesn't that totally contradict the objective?
It's a great point, and it raises an important question about how language evolves. Your skepticism is completely justified based on the etymology?
Because it meant inducing terror, right?
Historically, yes. Terrific was absolutely tied to concepts of inducing fear. But language is a living organism. It undergoes etymological drift.
Etymological drift.
Yeah. In modern English, that original dark association has just been entirely scrubbed from our collective consciousness.
So the terror has completely evaporated.
Entirely. Today, the mechanics of the word deliver this classic, upbeat, almost retro energy. It just means extremely enjoyable.
The source recommends it for bright, immediate compliments, right?
Exactly. Greeting a colleague with, "You look terrific today," is an incredibly disarming compliment.
Or reacting to a sudden break in a week-long rainstorm by saying, what terrific weather we're having. It inherently forces a lighter tone into the interaction. Okay, that makes sense. So we have this robust toolkit for emotion, for weekend trips, cozy cafes, validating friends. But if you're sitting in a boardroom reviewing a complex merger, or, evaluating quarterly margins, you cannot walk around calling the spreadsheets delightful.
No, you definitely cannot. You need a pivot for high-stakes environments. We have to transition from words of emotion to words of objective merit and intellect.
And the source gives us a distinct vocabulary set for this, starting with incredible.
The structural breakdown of incredible in the source is actually fascinating. It reveals exactly how the will functions psychologically.
Right, because it comes from credible.
Yes. From credible, meaning believable. So when you describe a piece of software architecture or even a gourmet meal as incredible, you are signaling that the quality is so exceptionally high, it actually bypasses your brain's normal threshold for belief.
Like your brain is essentially short-circuiting because the standard of excellence is beyond what you anticipated.
Precisely. And then for evaluating the absolute highest tier of a service or product, the source points us to top-notch.
I use that one constantly. Like when I'm recommending a service to a friend, I always find myself reaching for top-notch.
Because the mechanics of that word are purely visual. A notch is a literal physical mark on a measurement scale.
Right.
So to label a trusted mechanic or a law firm's customer service as top-notch, it immediately places a visual image in the listener's mind of a scale maxing out. It instantly transfers your trust to them.
I see that. And when it comes to professional praise within a management structure, the source suggests outstanding, which visually is another brilliant construct.
Literally standing out from a crowd.
Exactly. If a manager evaluates a team member's presentation as very good work, the employee just feels like they met the baseline requirement.
It checks the box.
Right. But if the manager says, you did an outstanding job today, the employee feels they have separated themselves from the pack. The source argues that is the kind of praise that dictates employee retention.
It's the critical difference between acknowledging completion and honoring true excellence.
Which brings up the word impressive.
Mm.
I always think of this word's function as a spotlight.
A spotlight? How so?
Like it doesn't just praise the final result, the beautiful slide deck or the finished product. It shines a spotlight on the hidden, grueling effort behind the scenes.
Oh, absolutely. The source uses the example of a friend learning a complex song on the guitar in just 2 days.
Yeah, saying, wow, that is really impressive, recognizes the intense focus required to actually achieve that outcome.
And In a corporate setting, telling a colleague, your sales numbers this quarter are truly impressive, it validates the late nights and the stress they endured. It makes the individual feel seen rather than just treating them as a production metric.
But wait, how do we differentiate between praising someone's sheer willpower and praising their actual intellect?
That's a great distinction.
Like, let's say a colleague didn't just grind out cold calls, but they actually engineered a totally new, highly efficient workflow. Just raw, smart thinking.
Praising intellect requires a highly specific psychological touch, and the source identifies brilliant as the optimal choice here.
Brilliant.
But cultural context is required here.
Right, because in the UK, they use it for everything.
Exactly. In the UK, brilliant is often used as a general placeholder. A cup of tea can be brilliant, but in North America, it is heavily reserved for clever ideas, ingenuity, and smart solutions.
So it's a much more targeted deployment over here.
Highly targeted. If you're struggling to manage a chaotic logistical issue and a team member suggests a clever workaround, responding with "that is a brilliant idea" causes a massive psychological shift.
Because you're no longer just praising their work ethic.
Right. You are validating their cognitive ability. You are making them feel like a genius.
Wow. That is a massive leap from a very good idea.
It really is.
So we have these powerful single adjectives for emotion and for merit. But the source material pushes us to graduate beyond single words entirely.
Yeah, it argues that to truly capture a native fluent rhythm, we have to adopt full visual idioms.
What the source refers to as pocket expressions.
Right, because single adjectives, no matter how elevated they are, primarily engage the language processing centers of the brain. Idioms, however, trigger the sensory and visual cortex.
They bypass pure logic.
Exactly. They paint a highly vivid, shared memory in the listener's mind.
Let's analyze the specific pocket expressions the source provides. The first one is spot on.
Spot on implies absolute, undeniable accuracy.
Like if an analyst predicts the exact market shift or a friend guesses your exact mood just by looking at you, you tell them your assessment is spot on.
It triggers the visual of hitting the dead center of a target. It rewards the other person's precision in a way that feels incredibly satisfying.
But spot on only implies accuracy. What happens when the experience is so overwhelming, it bypasses logic entirely?
That requires a physical idiom, which the source identifies as blow someone away.
Leaving someone deeply surprised and totally speechless. Like you witness a stunning theatrical performance or a friend cooks a complex, multi-course meal. You say, this meal completely blew me away.
Notice the linguistic mechanism there, too. You are centering your own physical, kinetic reaction to their effort. You're telling them their work had a tangible force to it.
A tangible force. I like that. Next up is out of this world, which is used for things that are entirely extraordinary.
Right.
Experiencing the northern lights on a winter trip or tasting an unbelievable dessert. You say, that experience was out of this world.
You are effectively telling the listener that the subject cannot be judged by normal earthly standards. You elevate it well beyond the mundane.
The fourth expression is can't beat it, which represents an unrivaled situation of pure contentment.
The source paints this great picture of sitting on a sunny porch with fresh coffee on a Sunday morning. You simply say, you really can't beat this.
It's an acknowledgement that you've just ceased searching for anything better in that moment.
Exactly.
And the final pocket expression is next level.
Which is a distinctly modern phrase.
Yeah, denoting a newly unlocked standard of skill. Like a photographer upgrades their lenses and captures breathtaking portraits, you tell them your new work is next level. Or witnessing an athlete achieve a personal best.
It's very dynamic.
So what does this all mean? Like, I have to ask the practical question here for the listener. Do we really need to haul out full idioms in our daily lives?
That's a fair question.
Doesn't swapping very good for incredible do enough heavy lifting? Why take on the extra cognitive load of deploying visual idioms?
Well, what's fascinating here is the sociological function these idioms serve. Yes, incredible is an excellent upgrade, but idioms construct a shared reality.
A shared reality.
Yeah. When you describe the Northern Lights as out of this world, you are not just grading the sky. You are asking the listener's brain to simulate that exact moment of profound awe.
You're demanding that they step into your memory with you.
Exactly. And that level of engagement is what separates a totally forgettable conversation from a deeply compelling one.
Okay, that clarifies the mechanics. You are building a scene, not just delivering a rating. But This brings us to the operational challenge of this deep dive.
For real-world application.
Right, because you listening to this might be thinking, if I suddenly start calling my Tuesday morning status meetings out of this world and telling my boss their emails are delightful, my entire department is going to think I've completely lost my grip on reality.
And you would be entirely right to worry about that. Strategic deployment is everything.
If you forcefully inject these high-energy phrases into mundane situations, you will sound manic, or worse, sarcastic.
Which is exactly why the source outlines a vital technique called smooth it out.
Smooth it out.
The objective is to take these elevated words and pair them with standard structure so you don't sound like a malfunctioning thesaurus.
The source gives a classic restaurant scenario for this. The robotic, safe tool approach is, the pasta here is very good, I like it very much.
Grammatically flawless, but entirely devoid of personality.
So to smooth it out,
Yeah.
you blend the warmth into the sentence. You say, the pasta here is incredible. This dish is out of this world.
You instantly project the image of someone who genuinely savors their experiences, rather than, a health inspector reading off a clipboard.
Right. And consider another common trap, the post-vacation recap. The standard default is, we had a very good time at the beach. The weather was very good.
The redundancy absolutely kills the listener's interest.
You smooth it out by mixing the toolkit. We had a wonderful time at the beach, and the weather was terrific.
It creates a much more natural, engaging cadence.
Now, making this transition in real-time conversations can feel intimidating. But impartially speaking, the source material actually introduces a technological solution for this called Mr. English AI.
Yes, it's presented as a 24/7 smart speaking assistant designed specifically to let users practice these exact vocabulary upgrades and receive instant feedback.
Which is so useful. Think of an AI practice environment, less like reading a textbook and much more like a flight simulator.
Right, a zero-pressure environment.
Exactly. You need to crash a few times in a digital space where nobody is watching. You get to figure out how it physically feels in your mouth to deploy the word delightful or praise a colleague's outstanding work.
And by the time you step out of the simulator and into a real-world networking event, the muscle memory is already there. You won't panic and default back to the very good safe tool.
It significantly lowers the barrier to entry for behavioral change. Upgrading your vocabulary away from very good isn't just a grammar exercise. It is an active investment in your leadership skills and your relationships.
It's how you show genuine respect for the unseen effort of your colleagues.
It is how you make the people around you feel truly valued and seen.
Because whether you are evaluating a critical proposal in a high-stakes meeting, or you're just recounting a weekend hiking trip to a neighbor, the precision of your words matters. It is the specific mechanism that transforms you from a passive observer of your own life into an empathetic, magnetic communicator.
And that leaves us with a final thought for you to carry into your day. Linguistic determinism suggests that the words we choose actually shape the physical structure of how our brains perceive the world.
It's a powerful concept.
If that's true, does actively swapping out the phrase very good for words like awesome, delightful, or incredible actually rewire how you experience your own life?
That's the real question.
If you deliberately start searching your Tuesday afternoon for things that are out of this world, will your brain naturally start uncovering magic in the mundane routines you used to completely ignore? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.
That's the end of today's English conversation. Practice speaking every day to improve your English. If you enjoyed this lesson, please like this video. We'll see you in the next English conversation. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.